Watershed Project crew. We're planting hope gardens in the area known as the Hell Strip. This is called the Hell Strip because it's between the street and the sidewalk where these plants get battered. They get radiant heat from all of the pavement that's around them. They get buffeted by the winds coming out of the west, and they get stepped on by people coming out of their cars. So we've selected some plants here that will specialize in this sort of tough environment. This first plant here is called Rockpurslane. It's a succulent plant that is super drought tolerant, and it's the thing that really makes it stand apart are these amazingly bright magenta flowers that flower for a very long time. This is a great plant for a really, really tough garden situation. I'm down the street at one of the gardens that we planted last year, and I just wanted to show you how Rockpurslane really grows in and forms a really big mound, and how the flowers really stand out. And they, as I mentioned before, they bloom for a very long time. They're very showy. It's a very tough plant and a great selection for a hell strip. Next we have one of our natives. This is Penstemon heterophyllus. This particular cultivar is called Margarita Bach. Again, another really tough drought tolerant plant that's going to reward you with incredible flowers when it blooms. And this one's on the verge of blooming. They are sky blue flowers that start to fade into a purplish magenta. So really striking. They're going to set off nicely against these rock purslanes. This is a new plant that we haven't used before, but it's a primrose from Texas. It's called Sundrops, very appropriately. After it flowers, you can cut it back hard and it'll come right back. Again, a really drought tolerant plant, and one that's going to do just fine in this really tough, hot, and windy condition. Next is a larger plant. This is a shrub that's called Mexican marigold or mountain marigold. It's native to the mountains of northern Mexico, and it can get up to 6 to 8 feet high. It's really a very large, striking plant. One of the things that's most notable about it is it's got very aromatic leaves with a lovely herbaceous smell, and these bright cheery flowers that start to bloom in the winter time and into early spring. So it's a really nice shrub that's going to light up the cold winter months into the spring. And it's also very tough and drought tolerant. And after it starts flowering, if it gets a little too out of control, you can cut it back. And you can cut it pretty hard and it's going to come right back. This plant here is called Verbena lilacina. The cultivar name is De la Mina. It's a plant that's native to an island off of Baja California called Cedros Island. And this plant provides an abundance of flowers when it gets a bit larger. But this plant is really attractive to butterflies. And it's amazing how the butterflies come and flock to this plant. So you're providing a bit of habitat for pollinators here by planting this plant. In addition to that, it's extremely drought tolerant and tough. And talking about pollinators, this plant here is a salvia, a sage called Bee's Bliss. And it's aptly named because when it flowers, the bees cannot get enough of it, as well as the butterflies and other pollinators. So we're creating a little bit of habitat here as well as beautifying this hell strip in a very urban environment. This is our native iris called Douglas iris. As you can see, it's doing great. It's in part shade, a really great option for a part shade or even full sun hell strip. And this is Yarrow, Ashleia millefolium, another one of our natives that also does really well in a lot of tough conditions. As you can see, this has really nice ferny foliage, and it'll have white flowers. It's not flowering at the moment, but you can see that it does really nice. Even the foliage looks nice alone. And even though these plants are all really tolerant to drought and tough conditions, they still do need to get watered, especially the first year or so while they're getting established. And so watering is going to be needed, and I'll show you how to do that. You want to water each plant low and slow. This is even a little bit too high of a flow, but you want to just allow the water to really penetrate into the soil. So a good way to judge that is to water a bit and take the water away and watch how quickly the water absorbs. That's getting absorbed pretty quickly, which tells me that the soil is pretty dry. And once you start to see that the water is pooling and not absorbing as much, then you know you've probably watered enough.